Hello! Welcome to the Presbyterian Church of Wilmington's Bicentennial celebration. Our church began its faith journey in 1823, which makes us 200 this year. My name is Malia Beam. I'm 15 years old and I am a recently confirmed member of the Presbyterian Church of Wilmington. I've been attending this church since I was 2 years old. In this video, members of the congregation share stories about the variety of talents with which our church has been blessed. From a wealth of musical talents to dedicated church leadership, even just the willingness to humiliate themselves to help out Vacation Bible School. It is the people of our church who enrich our worship and allow our worship to continue no matter what challenges we face.
Another memory, which isn't as great, would be the COVID, how the church handled the adjustments needed for the COVID time, which we all struggled with. But I was so impressed with our people, because there's some real talent here, and we continue to have services, whether it be in our car or with our masks somewhere or at home streaming, but there was a lot of adjustments made, and a lot of people had to jump in there and do things that they probably had never done before. And that's a memory, I think.
Well, I assume I was told I was brought here when I was about 5 or 6 years old by Esther James, my aunt. I don't remember that, but that's what I did. Mm-hmm. And then the earliest memories I have is when I was in junior high. I started playing the piano for the Sunday school. Then I graduated from that into learning to play the organ, and then started playing the organ, and that was the main thing I did while I was in this church, happily.
Yeah. How long?
61 years. I played full-time for 50, and then I'm substitute.
Yeah.
But Jerry Foley was playing at the old church downtown, and she was getting older, and they needed somebody else. And so when I was 18, I took a few lessons on how to play the organ. And I'd go up to the old church after school and practice. And somebody said, weren't you scared because of vagrants? Back there, you didn't worry about people sleeping in the pews.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then I started playing in 54.
And Jerry lived long enough to be a part of this church in 2000.
Yes, she and I shared the duties for those first several years.
Yeah.
And then she got to the point where she said only one Sunday a month she wanted to play. Then I started playing the rest of the time. Mm-hmm. So those are some of my fondest memories. Playing the organ, I love doing it. I remember the ice cream socials we used to have out in the side yard of the old church.
That would be downtown?
Downtown church. Okay. Yep. And the old kitchen that was in that church was downstairs. It was terrible, but we had rummage sales, we had ice cream socials, things like that.
I know Rick Johnston, he sang at my father's and at my mother's funeral. And he sang His Eye is on the Sparrow.
Because I'm a big fan of Rick Johnston. I mean, his talent is over. And there was a full choir, and I know that at my husband's funeral that they all participated for me. And I told him, I said, okay, Rick, I want to confirm. And I said, hey, you get the choir. Because I hadn't asked. He said, well, you have to plan ahead. And I said, well, I'm planning now. I want you all to be there when I pass, and I want you to be there. And he said, well, then you better hurry, because it's going to be a race. But I think I'm ahead of him a little bit.
So when you sat up front, did you have 4 children sitting with you?
No, I took care of them. I had my place on the right-hand side, like I do now, sat in the same pew. And I'd have, when they were small, I'd take care of them, and as they got bigger, they sat with me. They would go to Sunday school. When they used to have Sunday school, it was different back then when they did Sunday school. But yes, she played the organ, and kids
Yeah.
all,
That's my memory of you.
yeah.
Jim and the kids, and Mary Lou was always up front playing the organ.
Yes.
One Sunday at the church on Randolph, remember the pillars that were in that church to begin with? Down the east side.
There's,
Oh, yes, I do.
Well, I was playing, and Dan, you know Quiet Dan, our little Dan, he came up, Maria was 3. He said, Mom, I don't want to hurry you, but when you get through playing the postlude, Maria just ran into one of those posts and cut her head. We have to take her to the hospital. Darren Lay and John Miller were chasing her, and she ran into the wall. That was the shortest postlude the congregation ever heard.
Oh,
I played
my.
2 more chords, finished, and we ran her to the hospital. She had stitches put in her head.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You know, kids do that.
Yeah.
Kids always.
They were
Yeah.
just running, having the best time.
Oh, yeah.
I think most of my memories, when I think of special things, probably center around the music program here. We started out in the bell choir, and we could not play bells. And Sandy welcomed us with open arms and was so patient with us, and we got to the point where we could play. And then we did the same with choir. Went into choir. We could both read music, but had never been in a choir before. So I think a lot of my memories kind of center around the music side of the church.
You listen to the choir.
Yeah. Oh, I love the choir. Yeah. I sang in the choir for a while and then just kind of dropped out. But I love the choir. When they're not there, it just seems like it's not church or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had the same teachers. You know, Nedra taught all year, and I was her helper, if that's what you want to. I was probably 20, 21, something like that. And I also sang in the choir.
Really?
Can't carry a tune with a bucket. Not even with a bucket. But I took up space. And I sat next to Esther. That's no joke. And she'd say, "Now, Janie, just sing soft and follow me."
So low you can't
So
hear
low
it?
so you can't hear me. But she did. She said, "Now just sing it slower and soft with
You
me."
start talking like that, I can remember the first time, what was it, we called it, when we started the campaign for the budget, always in the fall, and Jim Croce riding a stick horse with his cowboy hat on,
Oh, I
down the aisle. That was so funny.
Yeah, Pony Express, that was
Pony Express, that's right.
yeah, yeah. And that was a big hit, wasn't it?
Big hit.
Charming.
How
Kids-
about when Dave wore the chicken suit?
That-
He did
I was
the
just gonna
dance
mention
up
that.
the aisle. That was before preschool. No, it was before Vacation Bible School one year.
Yeah,
When
maybe
you
yes,
were-
yeah.
It's
Doing
good
the
to
chicken
have
dance
grown-ups
and
make a
that.
fool of themselves
Yeah.
with children.
That was a riot. It really was. That was great.
That's great.
Would that be one of your non-comfort moments when someone asks you to do something you'd
Because
rather
I didn't
not?
know what the chicken dance was. And I had
Frank come to me one day and he said, "Do you still do refinishing work or refinishing furniture?" And I said, "Well, yeah, some things." I said, "I don't like to get into any big projects, you know." And so he told me what he said. There's a name for it. I don't know what they call it.
A baptismal font.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what it
Okay.
is.
But he said that this is it's old. It really is old, and he said it needs refinishing. He said it's just almost turned black. And I said, "Well," I said, let me look at it.
Thing is old, isn't it? Yeah, there's the thing.
That's to hold the water?
Yeah, that's the old water.
Okay.
Here's a date engraved, 1891,
Oh,
and
1891.
says in memoriam, 1891. I don't think there was anything else on here. And
That's
I'm
pretty.
thinking, They must have taken
Frank
it out.
was such a
There was
nice
a piece of
guy.
paper in there with some names on it, and I know Frank Shaw's name was on it
Yeah.
and everything. But no, it's
So you took that all apart
Yeah, we did.
This,
and
this
put
is,
it all back together.
This
Yeah,
is
we
sep-
did.
This is separate here, and here's the pedestal. It's separate, and then this part here, and then this part here. And like I say, it's still got the cracks in it and everything. And yeah, it was
So what caused those cracks?
just age, I guess.
Oh, getting old, you get the.
And there's the nail holes, and this is separated here.
Yeah.
Everything here and here, but I thought, you know, instead of trying to fill those in and everything, I said, you know, that's part of it. That's
Right?
Chaffins.
Yeah.
They're nice people.
Yeah. He did a lot of work too. So did
yeah,
she.
Don did. Yeah.
Yeah, Don, he's a good guy. They're,
Yep,
they're
we'll walk
both.
with
She is too. They're both good people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they just don't.
He done a lot of barbecuing for the church.
That's what he's good at, barbecue.
Barbecue good.
You were a trustee when the church moved from downtown to Southridge,
I was.
and that sometimes you had sleepless nights thinking, how are we going to do this and pay for it? And
Oh yeah, Cy Barnes. He worked uptown in an office, and he was a member of the church. Well, back then we had a collection for payment of the church and a collection for regular expenses. You had two envelopes you put in every Sunday, and he had charge of the money that was paying off the church on Randolph Street. And so he came into one of our meetings, I was chairman of it, and said, here's your books back, here's everything. You know, I'm not going to be the chairman of it anymore. And he left. Within an hour, he was back. He said, give me those books back. He said, we're going to pay this church off. And so he took the books, you know, and everything back, and we paid it off, burnt the mortgage within a year after he took it back. Now, the people of the church gave enough money to pay off all the debts. You know, we borrowed money because we only sold the church to the city for $50,000 up on the corner of Mulberry and Rombach, where they put in the parking lot. And then we had to come up with the rest of the money to build the church on Randolph. And Cy Barnes was instrumental in seeing that that was paid off. He took the books to begin with, and he came back and got them and said, I'm going to see that it's paid for. But he left, and he must have got to thinking about it and said, well, I'm going to see this is paid off. That's what we need again, you know. People that'll say, I'm going to take
did
care
you
of
play the organ that we currently have?
No, I just played it on dedication Sunday. Yeah, I did. No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
But you pretty much raised the money to pay for it.
Yes. Yes.
That was your last year or second to the last year being an elder?
Yeah. Yeah. I was chairman of the committee.
Yeah.
And I told Pastor Debbie, I said, we needed a new organ. And she said, oh, I don't know. I said, this is a giving congregation. If we say we have a need, they'll give. So I made the plea, and we started in October, and by December, we had all the money for it.
Yeah.
So
That was a lot of money too.
it was.
Yeah.
We had extra money, so that's when we bought the piano for the. So.
Wow.
For his eyes on the sparrow, and I know